Hello and welcome to the news. Here on our show we have...
I'm Fred T. Smith.
And first of all, why are you so sweaty?
Oh, well, it gets pretty hot in there. All fire.
Alright, now Fred, what are some of the testings you did at the beginning of the program?
Well, instead of making some actual prototypes, we just launched some mini rockets out into Lake Ontario with miniature scales on them to see what the angles that they would fly at would be like.
That's very interesting. Okay, alright here, Fred. How did you overcome the problem with the Royal Canadian Air Force not testing their weaponry?
Well, you see, this is kind of a big problem because we can't get one weapon in there because they didn't tell us which ones we got it to use for.
That's interesting.
So we decided to just put a whole rack that would slide out from the bottom of the plane, and then we could just put any weapons we want in there and they'd work perfectly.
That's really interesting. Alright now Fred, what are some of the specs on the Avro Arrow?
Oh, well, I actually got a sheet here somewhere. Wingspan is 15 meters. Overall length is 24 meters. Height is 7 meters. Total fuel, 13,000 liters. Can crew 2 pilots, 1 steering, 1 radar. That's about it.
Thank you. Alright, last question here, Fred. So, how do you truly feel about the cancellation?
Well, I'm quite frustrated that the government wasted all our time and all the taxpayers' money. And you know, it's quite unfortunate, because I think this plane would be very good in the future for other conflicts, and just in general to have in our hands.
Alright Fred, well thanks for being on our show.
Thanks for having me.
And that's a wrap. Alright, now we have a new guest on our show. This is Prime Minister Diefenbaker. Now, why did you choose Avro Canada over everyone else?
Well, we had a good experience with them before this, with the CF100 Canuck.
Nice.
Yeah.
Alright, Diefenbaker. Now, if you already had a good plane, why did you need a new one?
Well, it was a clear reason, but that's a really good question. So we had a bomb gap between like Canada and Russia that we needed to fill with a better plane, right? That would go longer distances. So that was just our clear choice with the Arrow.
Alright, next question. Okay, now why did you end up shutting down the Arrow?
Well, at first we encountered a problem where missile development was very rapid, so we questioned where the Arrow would be in, say, 5 years. We then decided to stick with our plan of making 37, but then even encountered more problems and finally decided to shut it down. It was really too bad.
Now, how do you feel about putting 1,400 people out of jobs?
Well, I feel like it was a big disappointment and a con in this whole operation, but in the end, like, it was spending a lot of taxpayers' money for like something that might not even be good. So that's why we decided to stop it.
Okay. Now, how much did the whole program cost in the end?
Well, the program cost about $470 million of Canadian taxpayer money, which was after construction and destruction as well.
Okay. Thanks for having me on our show. Alright, Fred. Thanks for having us. Last question before we'll have you leave. Last question here before we'll have you taken out. Last question before we'll have you... In my face, I just go, yeah! Where's the thought?
I wasted a lot of my time and my money, well, our money as a whole.